Have you ever tried to run from something you knew you were supposed to do? A calling, a responsibility, a hard conversation, a new beginning. Let me tell you about a man who tried to run from God himself. His name was Jonah. He wasn't a king or a warrior, not a giant of faith. Just an ordinary man, called to do something he absolutely did not want to do. God spoke to Jonah one day. Go to the great city of Nineveh. Preach against it, for their wickedness has come up before me. Now Nineveh was not a friendly place. It was powerful, violent, and deeply corrupt. And Jonah, well, he hated them. He didn't want them forgiven. He didn't want them saved. He wanted justice. So, instead of going east toward Nineveh, Jonah went west. He ran. He boarded a ship headed for Tarshish, the complete opposite direction. He thought distance would silence God's voice. He thought the vast sea would hide him. He thought he could escape his calling. But you can't outrun the one who made the oceans. That night, the wind began to roar. The waves rose like mountains. The ship groaned, threatening to break in half. The sailors shouted, throwing cargo overboard in a desperate attempt to stay afloat. Panic filled the air. But Jonah, he was asleep, deep in the bottom of the ship, running not only from God, but from responsibility itself. The captain shook him awake. How can you sleep? Get up and pray to your God. Maybe he will spare us. The sailors, desperate for an answer, cast lots to find out who was responsible for this supernatural storm. And a lot fell on Jonah. He knew this wasn't just bad luck. This wasn't a coincidence. This was a consequence. Jonah stood before those terrified men and said, I serve the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. This storm, it's because of me. The sailors were horrified. What have you done? Jonah answered quietly, Throw me into the sea, and it will become calm. They didn't want to do it. They were good men. They rowed harder, fighting the waves, trying everything they could to save themselves and him. But the storm only grew worse. Finally, with no other choice, they lifted Jonah and threw him into the raging sea. And instantly there was silence. The wind stopped. The waves flattened. The ocean rested. But Jonah sank. Down, down, into the deep, cold, dark, alone. It looked like the end. But it wasn't, because God had already prepared something. A great fish, not as a punishment, but as a protection. The fish swallowed Jonah whole, and for 3 days and 3 nights, Jonah sat in that total darkness. No control, no escape, no pride left, just him and God. Inside that living tomb, Jonah finally prayed. He remembered who God was. He remembered mercy. He remembered that even in his rebellion, God still listened. He cried out, In my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered me. Sometimes, Monday feels like the belly of that fish. You feel stuck, regretful, completely overwhelmed by the consequences of your own choices. But even in the deepest, darkest place, God hears. After 3 days, God commanded the fish, and it spit Jonah out onto dry land, alive, smelling like the sea, humbled, changed, and then God spoke again. The exact same command. Go to the great city of Nineveh. Notice something incredibly powerful here. God didn't cancel Jonah's calling. He didn't replace him. He didn't say, You failed, I'll find someone better. He simply gave him a second chance. And this time, Jonah obeyed. He walked into the massive, crowded, broken city of Nineveh, and he preached a simple, stark message. 40 more days, and Nineveh will be overthrown. He didn't add any flair. He didn't sugarcoat it. He just delivered the message. And something absolutely shocking happened. The people believed him. From the greatest citizen to the least, they fasted, they repented, they turned from their violent ways. Even the king stepped down from his throne, removed his royal robe, and sat in ashes to show his sorrow. And when God saw that their hearts had truly changed, he relented. He showed them mercy. He forgave them. The entire city was saved. But Jonah, he was angry. He went outside the city, sat down, and sulked. Why? Because deep down he knew God was merciful. And he didn't think Nineveh deserved it. Have you ever struggled with someone else getting grace? Have you ever thought they don't deserve a fresh start after what they did? But God's mercy is so much bigger than our anger. To teach him a lesson, God caused a plant to grow up quickly, giving Jonah shade from the hot sun. Jonah was happy about the plant. Then, the next day, God sent a worm to wither it. Jonah became furious about the dead plant. And God asked him a powerful, probing question. You are concerned about a plant you did not grow. Should I not be concerned about the great city of Nineveh, with more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left? The story ends right there. No perfect bow, no dramatic conclusion, just a question. And maybe that's because the story isn't just about Jonah, it's about us. On this Monday, maybe you've been running from a difficult task, running from forgiving someone, running from your purpose. Maybe you failed last week. Maybe you made a huge mistake. Maybe you feel like you've been swallowed by your own personal storm. But here's the truth from Jonah's story. The fish was not the end. The storm was not the end. Failure was not the end. It was all preparation. God specializes in second chances. He doesn't cancel Monday because you messed up on Friday. He renews it. He doesn't erase your calling because you ran from it. He repeats it. So wherever you are today, in the middle of the storm, in the dark deep, or standing on dry land, ready for a fresh start, remember this week is your second chance. Go, do what you were called to do. Forgive, obey, begin again, because the same God who calmed the sea still speaks today, and he is not done with you. Thanks for watching. If this message resonated with you, consider subscribing for more content to help you start your week with purpose.